everybody. It is August the 3rd, 2025, just about to hit 10 o'clock Eastern Time. It is the BodySlam.net post show for night 2 of WWE SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. My name is Max Dinenberg. This is Rami. We'll be with you for the next hour or so, breaking down a wild night 2 for a lot of good and a lot of bad reasons. Night 2 of WWE SummerSlam. This was a very hyped up night of wrestling going into this weekend, Rami. I think everyone thought night 2 was going to be the night everyone would be talking about from an in-ring perspective. We got a lot of that, I think, early in the show. A lot of mixed bag throughout. Overall, Rami, how are you doing on this Sunday night here?
I'm doing good. It started off as a good day and whatnot. I was watching Formula One racing. Then I went on to watch the Dodgers game. Then we got into the action for SummerSlam. Pre-shows, I'm not a really big fan of the 3-hour pre-show that we keep constantly getting, and with no matches at all. Like, there's so many wrestlers who have so many gear ideas and want to be on SummerSlam, and if they say this is like the biggest night that you want to be part of, it's like, life-changing, then everybody should be part of it. But it was it was a really good show, but it also, like what you mentioned, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And of course, the ugly came at the very end, where we got a situation that we never thought we'd see in our entire life. For as long as a lawsuit was going on for it, we thought we would never see somebody back in action. And now all of a sudden, I'm wishing that Travis Scott and Fiend was playing over and over again, rather than what I'd had to deal with to end off SummerSlam. But what a show! So many stand-up performances, so many matches that I was just like, wow, they went all out. This is SummerSlam. It was supposed to be life-changing for a lot of people, and if it's their first one, they were gonna go all out. Same with the tag team titles, for the women's championships. Everything tonight went completely all out. And yeah, I can't wait to talk more about it.
Yeah, we have tons of things to talk about. Sadly, it's a lot of stuff we have to talk about outside the ring. It looks like there is a reason why, Rami, that Triple H decided to not do any press conferences for this weekend. It seemed like that was going to be a pretty big question and multiple questions.
Last night, I think that was brought up, and I don't know if it was brought up between us last night, where we were talking about like, oh, no more press conferences. Oh yeah, because he said allegations are allegations, and nobody's perfect in life.
Yeah,
he says that on a week where we're like, huh, a guy saying something like this, you wouldn't be shocked if he brought back somebody who shall not be named, and then all of a sudden he brings back somebody that's part of all the mess. This professional wrestling is supposed to be our escape, but when we have the people who are supposed to be this escape come back into the world of wrestling, and people are like, man, I missed him so much. Do you know why he was gone? It's like, you see a murderer that somebody was your neighbor and they turned out to be a pretty bad person, and then they move back in town and you're like, hey, I remember you, Bob. I don't want to remember you, Bob. Like, I just want to get the fuck away from you, get away from the whole situation. And now it's right in front of our faces because of a retirement tour. And last night Triple H said that this was going to change everything. And last night we made predictions. I don't know if you remember any of our predictions.
Yeah.
We made predictions. I never thought I would be I never thought that would happen. We had completely different. I thought The Rock was gonna show up. I thought Cody Rhodes was gonna turn heel, and he showed signs of it. He showed a little bit of signs. The crowd was booing, and I was like, okay, what kind of length are they going to? And just it was a very, very crazy show. And I can't wait to get more into it. Let's get this underway.
Yeah, let's get this underway. We have a big show again. We are going to talk about the big thing. I just want to say already, way more people are here already for our live stream for night 2. So thank you, everyone who is joining us across Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and BodySlam's YouTube channel. If you're new to BodySlam, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube, and hit that thumbs up button. If you're on the chat anywhere, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, please join us in the chat. We'd love to comment and have a fun conversation with you guys. There is a lot to get into, a lot of passionate opinions. We want to hear all perspectives on things, so please comment as well. So let's get into the show, Rami, because this is going to be
I want to see as many comments as we can possibly get. Keep it filled up. Come on.
Yeah, we're not requiring you guys to do super chats. We want to have a fun conversation with you guys. not just us two talking to each other. I want to talk to the fans because I want to hear people's opinion on this, not just, Rami and myself. But let's get into the show, and we're going to talk about easily the best parts of the show, which were the opening 2 matches, Rami. So Triple H did start the show tonight. Cardi B, we already knew, was not going to be here tonight, so Triple H did the, are you ready to kick off the show? And we got into the women's triple threat match for the women's world title, where Naomi retained against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Now, Naomi came out with her dad playing on the guitar. It was a really sick entrance. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, it really shows you, I think, women have become really the most popular superstars in the company right now. And this match, I don't think, again, people are obviously going to compare it to the WrestleMania 3-way. I still thought this match absolutely delivered. I thought the couple moonsaults that Io hit in this match were very good. But it was you kind of see the finish coming where Naomi would kind of sneak in. I think we even said it on the show last night. Naomi would sneak in, steal the win. I got to be honest, that's one of the best roll-ups I've seen. I mean, there was no way Rhea was kicking out of it. I don't love the roll-ups where you can easily see someone be able to kick out and they don't kick out. That was a really good roll-up. But makes sense. Naomi and Stephanie is now going to be set in stone for Paris. Rami and I think, both predicted that last night. Rami, did this match live up to the hype for you?
Oh, yeah, it definitely did. Entrances lived up to the hype for me. And then the performances from all 3 women, they kicked so much ass, and I loved it. I love the way that they started it off with how Naomi was trying to get out of the way. They cornered her, and they took a couple of minutes just beating her ass, and then finally had that moment where they can have that one-on-one atmosphere between each other. And there was many moments where Rhea was gonna get the win, where Io was gonna get the win. Like, they were going completely all out, and I loved it so much. This was definitely like if no one says this was a 5-star match, then you're just lying to yourself. This was definitely 5 stars, and maybe even more. Io is an amazing competitor, and I love how the story that she has with Rhea, that she always beats Rhea, and that's what Rhea's whole story is, trying to get that win. And she's been trying to get that win since WrestleMania. Even before WrestleMania, she's been trying to prove, I can beat you without any type of bullshit in the way. But triple threats, man, that's what is so great about them, is that anything could happen. Anyone can win between all 3 women, and Naomi pulled out all the stops. And I'm happy for her. I was hoping that it would not be a short reign, and I'm glad that she was in those 2 pivotal moments where she broke up those big crucial pins and was able to capitalize off of it. And yeah, all 3 women just kicked ass. All 3 women kicked ass, and it was a great opener. 5 stars. Naomi winning, retaining the championship was definitely something that I really wanted the most out of anything tonight, and I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, I did hear some people saying, well, should they give Rhea? And I think it's just too early to take the belt off of Naomi.
Way too early.
Been working too hard, and even though she hasn't won a match, surprisingly, since really she won, and they were really talking about that on the pre-show a lot, how Naomi hasn't won a match since winning the world title. She needed this win. I do think I think Stephanie has a very good chance at winning the title in Paris, but I do think Naomi, with what happened in the Intercontinental Championship, and we'll get into that in a couple minutes here, Rami, I think the 2 losers in this match could be potential challengers for the Intercontinental Championship, with Becky retaining tonight. I think the women's roster is so deep. And I think the thing with WWE is they've really struggled at building the mid-card. Sometimes when they've had to force people like Rhea and Io to kind of stay in the title picture for so long, I think it's okay now that even if they're not in the Intercontinental Championship feud, even a non-title Rhea and Io feud, I think it's also very interesting, while Stephanie is now the #1 contender.
Yeah, but I do want, if you mentioned later on championship match that we'll get into, I do wonder what, stories built from that, especially after a loss like this for Rhea and for Io Sky, because Stephanie's now next in line for the championship, and she's going to be covering that for Clash in Paris. So no one can go after the championship until then, unless Adam Pearce gets, cuckoo again and just says, fuck it, I'll give you a championship match the week of, and then it could create some type of clusterfuck. But honestly, it was great to see what we saw. Naomi needed the big win. I remember at the beginning of the year they were saying that she was going to get this big push, and she went from being the person that attacked Jade Cargill, making her look like $1 million, having that final match between each other with Bianca Belair as a special guest referee, cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase for the championship, and it was only up from there that anyone could say, because you don't think that someone's going to immediately lose it. No one else in office right now would be thinking that, like in the past plans, like example, Dolph Ziggler when he won the championship, the whole
Yeah.
like he opened up about that and said, I won the championship and they still told me that I was going to lose in 2 months. And it's like,
Yeah.
but you win the Money in the Bank for a reason. You win it just so you can have that big triumphant reign. And I'm glad that Naomi's has so far been good and not right now, retaining it at a big show like SummerSlam, especially losing at WrestleMania, retaining at SummerSlam. It's a big difference in the last couple of months, and
Yep.
hopefully she continues to build up that streak. I would like to see her defeat Stephanie Vaquer and continue to build on this big streak where no one can beat her, because it should be that way. Proceed with caution.
That's right. And again, Clash in Paris is on August 31st, if I'm not mistaken. So we have 4 weeks for this build to Naomi and Stephanie. That's really exciting. Again, I'm just really happy for Naomi. She needed another big win. As you said, she was losing a lot. She even lost to Evolution to Jade, and she needed to win. She was losing tag matches on Raw for weeks, but now she's back in the winner's circle. And Rhea Ripley got pinned. I think that shocked a lot of people. Naomi pinned Io at Evolution. And again, it's a cash-in. Doesn't really matter who she's pinning. But I think a lot of people were shocked Rhea took the pin. I still think Rhea being so fixated on, she had EOB, and that's the story here. She's so fixated on her being the one to beat Io Sky, and that passion cost her the match tonight. So Naomi gets the win. She will head to Clash in Paris against Stephanie Vaquer. Just want to say, tons of people are joining us right now. We're well over 1,500 people across all the platforms. So please, guys, follow us on all of our social media. We have shows here every single day. And also, guys, please comment. What are your thoughts on Naomi retaining her title? Rami, I think it's time to talk about the car crash of the night, which was the TLC match for the World Tag Team titles. We had the Wyatt Six retaining the debut Andrade and Rey Fenix, DIY, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, and Street Profits. This match did live up to the hype. It was a big spot after big spot match. We had a trio where Johnny hit the DDT outside the ring to Gacy through a table. Then Loomis hit the leg drop through the table. Then Phoenix hit a splash through a table. And then Axiom hitting the Spanish Fly and Angelo Dawkins through a table. We had Ciampa, really strong human being, pulling himself up when he was grabbing onto the tables.
I was so scared. I was like, how is he doing that?
The guy is over 40 years old, people. I don't think people realize his age, the unbelievable shape that he is in. Him and Gargano flying off the ladder through 4 tables. It ends up that the Wyatt Six retained. We also had the Dudley Boys as well as the Hardy Boys ringside to signify the anniversary of the TLC match. But again, it was a weird match that had a lot of pop to it. The crowd wasn't completely bought with the Wyatts winning the match. Once Gacy started climbing, the people were like, this is really what's happening. But I think the match itself absolutely delivered. Also, forgot to mention Candice LeRae taking a huge spot where she, Johnny accidentally pushes her off the ladder. Candice was a very extreme wrestler before she was signed by NXT and PWG. So it's cool to see her. And you got B-Fab and Nikki Cross involved. So they kind of got Uncle Howdy and Rowan were involved. They kind of got everyone involved in this match, Rami. Did you enjoy yourself as well?
Dude, come on now. Like 10 out of 10 match. I thought the chaos was everything. And then when they introduced the Dudleys, I was like, testify. And then they introduced the Hardys, and I just got even more hyped up. I was so happy. We got the entrances, everybody looking all stellar. The action was just already crazy off the bat. Motor City Machine Guns trying to take down every single team that was in the way. But it was a nice fresh breath of air, because we don't get many tag team title matches. We don't really get a lot of tag team title matches at these pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Like, we have to wait till WrestleMania, and then they're like, oh, now we found a story and we'll give it to you now. No, dude, come on. Like, I felt so bad on the pre-show where Montez Ford said that they had missed 17 months. 17 months it's been since the last PLE appearance.
Crazy.
That shouldn't be happening. For a company that talks about we have the best wrestlers, buddy, please fucking show it, because this tag team division is stacked. And all of these teams are amazing, and then there's still more teams that are like Los Guards that are competing for the AAA Tag Team
Yeah.
Championships. There's other teams on Raw that are still itching to be able to be on a pay-per-view. I don't know why Judgment Day wasn't
Yeah.
allowed to defend the tag team championships as well. They could have defended it on Saturday night, and then tonight we could have gotten the other tag team titles on the
Especially
line.
if
But
2 nights. Especially if 2 nights.
especially that's what I'm saying. Like we have two nights of big pay-per-views, and then we don't get those. Especially after they said a couple of months ago a report that next year's Mania will feature 11 matches on each night. If that's the fucking case, then give it to us now so that we can be prepared when WrestleMania comes. So we're not, wow, they give us a lot of matches on WrestleMania season. No, we already know that from SummerSlam. We already know that from if Survivor Series becomes fucking 2 nights, because at this
Yeah.
point, they're turning every of these big four pay-per-views into 2 nights. Soon enough, the Royal Rumble is going to be 2 nights and everything. So I don't even know if it already is, because it could be. They could be already inking a deal tomorrow morning. But this match was everything I needed it to be. I always love TLC matches. I love anything that involves chaos and anything that involves the spectacular moments that we saw tonight, especially Axiom and Angelo Dawkins. That Spanish Fly spot, it looked like everything exploded. It reminded me of, in a way, the Logan Paul and Jelly Roll spot the night last night,
Yeah.
with how I watched back the replay of that, and then you see the table explode from the middle like a car crash. And then when we see Angelo go through those tables via a Spanish Fly by Axiom, it was everything I needed it to be. I like the ending, and also I do love that you mentioned Candice LeRae and her tenure in
Yes.
PWG. When she got signed to WWE back in the day in NXT, I immediately said, "Holy crap! If they give her the creative freedom to do what she needs to do, she'll be busted open. She'll be going crazy all over the world. She'll be doing what she's got to do." And then this moment, this spot, I knew as soon as she entered it, I immediately said, "She's the leader of the spot." The
Yes.
perfect person you need was Lita in the TLC matches, because she always took those crazy bumps. Candice LeRae was the exact same way. It's just the only thing that we're probably missing is I would say an extra guy to be like Spike Dudley or be like Rhino, and then maybe spear Candice LeRae next time. I'm not saying that I'm wishing that on her, but I'm just saying, like, if we're
Yeah.
truly going into the TLC format and the pattern of everything, then I would love to see her take a spear. But she took a whole ladder. She went knee first. I'm really hoping that she's okay, because that was very freaking scary. And they're showing her right now on the post show for SummerSlam on Peacock, and she has an ice pack on her back. She looks perfectly fine right now. Well, she looks like she's in good spirits, at least. Not so
Yeah.
much like championship wise. But I was happy with the ending. I was very glad that the Wyatt Six retained the championships, because I didn't want them to lose it just yet. They caused all this chaos, and I know last night, I believe you said DIY you wanted to win. I wanted
Yeah.
Motor City Machine Guns to win the match, but I feel like the Wyatts winning this definitely establishes their dominance, because they can go against all the teams and then still take them out. The next match I would like to see them do, if they're keeping the titles for this long or whatever, then the next match that I would like to see them do is a tag team elimination chamber. We haven't seen that in quite some time, and I think that would definitely open up the doors more for a lot more tag team classics. But yeah, great match, 10 out of 10. Back-to-back bangers that we got to experience for SummerSlam Night 2.
Yeah, I thought this match really delivered. I thought every team had their moments. Montez did the vintage jumping over the corner for the moonsault. I think SmackDown's tag team division has really lived up to the hype this year. They've been booked on SmackDown in really good spots, but again, they haven't had a title shot on this pay-per-view since Royal Rumble, which is where they did the 2 out of 3 falls match with DIY and Motor City, and the crowd was just not there for that match. And then they did a TLC match earlier this year, but that was after, that was not during at WrestleMania. And that became the story of this match, doing the TLC match with all of these teams, but putting it on a big PLE like SummerSlam. I do think I would like to see some other tag teams. As you said, the Raw tag team division just has not been booked very well in a long time.
No,
And
no.
the SmackDown tag team division, you've kind of seen all these teams kind of face each other at this point. I do want to see some shakeups and see some different matchups here. I'm interested. The Wyatts, story-wise, has not really worked for me since their return. But with the titles, hopefully they can start putting together some real stories here. They kind of just been in the background as all the other teams have been basically fighting. Why are we not, defending the tag division while the Wyatts are, running the show? Hopefully there's more meat on the bone there for the Wyatts as champions. And let's move on.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. Let's move on now to my opinion, the lull part of this show, which is kind of the next 3 matches here. Let's get into Becky Lynch, who was a big underdog for a lot of people. She retained her Intercontinental Championship in a 25-minute match with Lyra Valkyria. It was a no DQ match, and the stipulation was if Lyra lost, she could not challenge for the Intercontinental Championship while Becky Lynch is the champion. And again, they had a tough act to follow where they had 2 really good matches, including, again, I think this show has been booked weird because they put all the stipulation matches on this show. So you had a TLC match that was followed up by a no DQ match, that was followed up by a steel cage match, and then the last match on the show was also a street fight. So you kind of had 4 stipulation matches. It felt like an Extreme Rules pay-per-view, honestly, tonight, more than SummerSlam at points. I thought this match was fine. I don't think this match was as bad as people were saying. I don't think this was the worst match on the show. Becky had her new music, which I am a big fan of. There were some good spots here using, Lyra was handcuffed for like 90% of this match. Becky using some chairs, there were some kendo sticks. There was a really cool spot where Becky was like leaning on a table and the camera didn't show Lyra jumping off and hitting her leg drop on her. I thought that camera work was good. The story here was Bayley did get involved and accidentally cost Lyra the Intercontinental Championship. I think that's where the divisiveness came, that it wasn't a clear Bayley. It looked like Bayley was trying to beat up Becky, but then she missed Becky, hit Lyra with the chain, manhandle slam. Shockingly, Becky retains the title. Rami, what were your thoughts on this women's IC title match?
It's funny because you say that and they're showing it right now, like, the recap, and Becky's talking right now on Peacock. But what I love the most about this match was that they were able to go all out between each other. If this was the rubber match that ends all rubber matches, then this was what they needed to, finalize the feud between each other. They fucking killed it. They fucking kicked ass. They killed it. Did an amazing job. And I don't want to be all too crazy for like everything that's going on, but I feel like the matches that we saw, especially these matches, the stipulation ones, the whole point was like if she loses here, she can never challenge the championship again. And now she's in that situation. But this match was amazing because that chair spot where she wrapped it around Lyra's body and stomped on it, it looked fucked. And then the crowbar being introduced, Bayley trying to land some shots in, the leg drop through the table. I thought it was amazing. I love how Lyra's grittiness. She went through everything she could to try to find some fucking cutters and get that zip tie right off her wrist. And also, I did want to mention the entrance. I'm a big Wonder Years fan, so I'm very happy about it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that they were able to make this entrance song for her. And people were like, I'm not really a big fan. It doesn't seem like it fits her. I think it fits her perfectly. It's just that it's the first listen. You're gonna have to at least allow her to go out there multiple times and then hear the lyrics and what they're trying to say. But they did another amazing match. I think this was it's a 5-star exchange that they had. Personally for me, it was a 5-star match because I enjoyed what Lyra was able to open up and bring out more. There was a spot where she got thrown onto the top of the barricade. She kicks Becky and she slips off, but she's still able to leap and then land a crossbody. I thought that was really nice because a lot of people be like, oh, that was like a botch. No, it's improvising. Professional wrestling can be improvised at any given moment. Especially there's technical wrestling that can be improvised. There's a lot of high-flying spots that can be improvised, like what Ospreay and Ricochet did many years ago. There's spots between Brett and Owen that like wrestling techniques that can be completely like changed up and transitioned and reversed at any given moment. And this was another moment where like even the sloppiest of wrestling can be awesome because matches like this where they hate each other so much. Those two, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, cannot stand each other. And that's what made it so much better for each moment between each other. to just be more and more grittier than the last and more painful. And I like that they involved Bailey because it still builds up Bailey as this like still underdog type of character that is trying to help out their friend. Even though they got involved, they still wanted to help out and they still wanted to make sure that Lyra did not have to deal with the stipulation. And then she
Yep.
still has to deal with the stipulation. And then now I think this builds up a more violent side of Lyra that we're going to see more of a heel side for her. Clash in Paris, I think that's where we get the final match between these two, between Bailey and Lyra, and then set them apart. Have Lyra most likely win, I would say, because I feel like you got to keep building up that Lyra train. Especially for the World Championship. I feel like she could definitely be in the world title picture unless they want to build up Bailey and Naomi. But good match. Becky can finally move on from this. Lyra
Yeah.
can move on from it, and it's gonna be very interesting to see what storylines get built up because there's a lot of women on that roster that could easily go off the Intercontinental Championship, and there's even one name that competed at Bloodsport, like Natty Neidhart, that could definitely be entered into this
Yep.
and be treated like a more serious competition.
I agree with you. I think Io and Rhea are also good shouts to fight the feud with Becky. I do think it was my least favorite of the 3 matches we've gone this year with Becky and Lyra in it. I thought their 2 singles matches were better, and I thought the 3-way at Evolution was better than this. I thought Lyra was handcuffed for me for too long in the match, where it got too ridiculous. I'm all cool with Becky winning. I think this clearly is going to be a Bailey-Lyra feud, probably. I just wish, I think WWE is addicted to, oh my God, I accidentally hit someone and that causes the finish of the match. I feel like I watch this every single week on their TV. I wish they were more, in this match, they needed Bailey to have a clear motive. And obviously, clear motive meaning she tried to attack Becky. I just wish it wasn't like an accidental thing where she was trying to hit Becky and that sets up the finish. I just felt like it was a very lazy finish to a pretty, I thought the match was not bad. I thought the match was fine. I just wish the finish was, I felt like a very flat finish. It felt like a very mid 2010s WWE finish where they don't want to go, they want to protect so many people involved in this. And now Lyra cannot challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. Do you like the finish of the match, or are you like me, kind of mixed on it?
I'm mixed on it because I understood the forearm spot from Bailey. Of course, the Lyra screw in a way, not intentionally, but unintentionally screw her over. But with the manhandle slam and whatnot, I feel like I would have probably enjoyed it more if they forced like a submission and they would have made Lyra, like pass out from the pain of the disarm her right in front of Bailey, especially like you attacked me and now you got to basically watch me, tap out or submit or pass out from a submission hold of your bitter enemy. I want to say this too. I like that on the pre-show Michael Cole in this interview with Becky. He mentioned when she was getting up in a debut with Charlotte and with Sasha. They actually mentioned Mercedes Moné by Sasha Banks, and I was very happy about that because of course I don't want them to erase people's memories, and I would like for them to, unless you fucking murder your family and your kid, but piss on people. But you know what I mean? Like you gotta definitely acknowledge the people who were like Jeff and Matt Hardy and the Dudleys. I wanted to see the legends recognized.
Yes, again, this finish was not for me. I thought the match was fine. I was a little underwhelmed by the match. I don't think it was bad. It wasn't the worst match on this show. We're gonna get into what I thought was the worst match in the show in a second. I thought this feud was going to really put Lyra over. But again, I think Becky being champion is not a bad thing. This Intercontinental Championship has been put more at the forefront due to Becky's involvement. So again, what always matters after these big feuds end is what's next. I think Lyra and Bailey seems very clear in the direction. Question is who will be Becky's challengers. We'll find out on Raw at the Barclays Center tomorrow night. Now, Rami, let's move into our 4th match on the show, which for me was shockingly, I would have not put this as the worst match on the show when we were talking last night, but Solo Sikoa did retain his United States Championship against Jacob Fatu. Now, as I said on this show, I actually called this to a T, Rami. That was a steel cage match. There was going to be shenanigans from the MFTs, and that was going to lead to Solo retaining his title And that's what happened. Jimmy Uso came out. It was a 3-on-1, so Jimmy Uso did nothing to help out. And yet another steel cage match where the winner walks out of the cage. Happened with Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest at Saturday Night's Main Event. That did not go over well. This match was not for me. I was more bored, and I love Solo and Jacob. I think the performers are great. I think the feud's been fine. I think Solo showing off more personality has really helped him. But this match was not it. They saved the best spot of this match for after the match, where after Solo won, JC Mateo and Tonga Loa locked themselves in the cage with Fatu, and Jacob did a off the top of the cage, a moonsault. Great spot, great camera work, but they saved it for the post-match instead of doing it in the match. Again, I thought this was going to happen. This match was not for me, in my opinion. But Rami, what did you think of this?
I agree with you, man. I expected more. I expected a lot different spots, but it felt like it kind of rushed for some reason. I feel like they were trying to like rush those final two matches and whatnot, and we'll get to this match and next match, of course. But I felt like it was definitely a rush job. Like, and especially with the ending, like Jacob Fatu does the moonsault off the top of the cage, and I was like, that's cool and all, but I expected that to happen during the match, like a big spot where he takes out all the members, and then Solo like wakes up from the carnage and he's trying to crawl to the door, and then he still gets got by Jacob. I thought that would have been pretty sick, or like a moment where like they basically build like a wall, and he's handcuffed. He breaks the handcuff, gets up to the top, and then does the moonsault onto them, breaks the wall, and then Solo is like, "Fuck, what am I gonna do about it?"
Yep.
But that wasn't the case here. It was funny. They were just showing Solo for like just a split moment or whatever. He said like, y'all bitches. Why would you ever believe in anybody else? But I was like, all right. I can't disrespect the king. I want to say this though, the entrances I thought were cool. I know I said it quite a bit, but I love Solo. The energy he's shown lately. Him as champion, the way that he matches off his energy, the way he's so silly and goofy, but he's so entertaining with it. That's what makes everything so much better. But it was definitely a match where even the ending felt like, I want to say this, the ending for this one felt very fucking flat, because the big boo, you take out Jacob, and then Solo just falls out, like tumbles out of the cage, and the winner, that's it. I was like, after everything I've seen Jacob go through with the last Monster Standing match and with all these other matches, you're telling me a cage door is gonna just be the thing that just stops him, like just dead in the center? I didn't like that. And I want to say this, I would have understood this finish if the ending of tonight went completely different, but it didn't. It didn't go in the way of like a bad guy coming up from the ground, and then us like being able to like, oh, that's the world championship feud for Jacob Fatu. What does Jacob do next? Does he continue his feud with the fucking with the what do you call it? What are they called again?
The MFTs.
The MFTs, like the NFTs or whatever they want to call themselves, like whatnot. Like if they continue this feud into Clash in Paris, I'm like, what's the point? Because now Jimmy and like Jacob, I guess they're trying to handle business, but it's just trying to continue to lose to Solo, to Talatonga, to all the Tangaloa, and like Tangaloa, JC Mateo, like all these guys who are coming into, and when Tama Tonga comes back, like, I'm sorry, but Jacob's not going to be able to stop all those monsters that are going to be attacking him. They're like hyenas to the Lion King. But what are you going to do about it? But like, I don't really know what to do. I don't know how to feel about the future going wise, because what's next for Jacob Fatu? What's the closest he can get to that world championship? Because honestly, I feel like the next feud that you could probably do is Drew McIntyre.
Sure.
Drew McIntyre against Jacob Fatu, you build that up, and then you make them face off in Clash in Paris. Maybe Jacob wins there, and then Bad Blood, you have Drew McIntyre get that revenge from a year ago. Let him be 1-1 in the event, and let him get a little bit of revenge there.
To be fair, now Cena and Lesnar is a non-title feud. You could easily have Fatu and do something with Cody, but again, obviously Cody winning, he's a babyface. Who knows? But I'm someone who, I watch New Japan religiously. I was really excited when Jeff Cobb and Hikuleo and all these people signed. it just has not worked out, especially for JC Mateo. He had literally got his ass.
JC,
Yeah,
JC feels so out of picture.
Yeah, he's out of picture. First of all, he was the only one who got no offense, and he got killed in this outside the ring and in the ring. This guy was a monster in Ring of Honor and New Japan and in Lucha Underground, and he has not been treated like that in WWE. I don't think this is helping him at all. I think trying to do another bloodline is not working. I'm very frustrated because, again, I love Hikuleo and Jeff Cobb and Tongaloa and Solo, but this stuff has not worked. I'm done with this feud. Solo has now beaten him twice. Like, this is it. Like, there's no more Solo and Jacob. They probably will do, like, Solo and Jimmy Uso, probably. But, like, I don't want to see that. I'm done with the family members feuding.
Yeah.
I think it's enough.
Let Big Jim go to Raw with Naomi. Let him go enjoy his time there.
Yeah.
Like, get away from family. You know what I mean? But
I agree. And I was shocked. This really underwhelmed. And I love the performers. It just it was not good. I think the steel cage stipulation, WWE just books it the same way every time now, where someone's leaving the cage, and it just makes it a very, as you said, flat finish to this match. Let's move on to the fifth match on the show, Rami, which was Dominic Mysterio retaining his Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles. Shockingly, we had 2 Judgment Day matches this weekend and no interference from any members of Judgment Day in any of the matches, even though they interfere in every match on Raw. Nothing here. AJ comes out wearing Eddie Guerrero gear in the Eddie Guerrero car with his son, who has like the same haircut as like Dom from 20 years ago, which was very funny, and they talked about that. The match itself I thought was fine. It felt like a Monday Night Raw match, not a SummerSlam match. They had the Eddie callbacks where, Dom hit the Three Amigos, but AJ turned it into a blockbuster or brainbuster, excuse me. And then they did the fake chair shot where Dom did it, and then AJ did it. That part was funny. But Dom unlaced his boots while AJ was in the calf crusher. AJ takes it off. Dom hits him with it, does the frog splash. Dom wins with no help of Judgment Day. There was no Liv Morgan coming back, and a lot of people were begging for her to return. There was no Finn or JD on any of these shows. So Dom retains. He's still the champion. It felt like, and Michael Cole brought it up multiple times, that this could be AJ Styles' last SummerSlam. They really beat it into the ground on commentary that this is probably AJ's last SummerSlam. What did you think of this one?
I love the lowrider and gear that he came out with, because I was like, oh, and the fact that it's the same freaking gear from the fucking custody match, I was like, oh my god, that's just so perfect. Like he said, I'm gonna be your daddy tonight, and I thought that was just hilarious. The match was fun. It felt like a main event that you get to a Monday Night Raw or like Saturday Night main event and whatnot. Like, and it was built like a very much of a like. Not like a cool off match. Because I don't want to be disrespectful towards either talent at all. But it was definitely a match that I was so happy not to see Judgment Day interference from, whether it was Roxanne, Liv, Raquel, Finn, or JD, or even freaking like R-Truth out of nowhere coming out of the blue.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that nobody got involved with this, because this is about Dominic Mysterio and establishing himself as a singles guy, as a single star. And when he won that Intercontinental Championship this past April at WrestleMania, he pinned Finn Balor. He pinned him in a match where he was taken out multiple times. Like, he got bulldozed by Braun Breaker. And a lot of people were like, oh, Finn's going to have this moment. No, it's Dominic's. And then Dominic goes on to beat Penta. He goes on to defeat Octagon Jr. He goes on to have these matches, all over the live events and whatnot, against all these big main event guys. And the whole point of it being, we want to make sure that this guy is the next man up. August 15th, streaming live on YouTube. People can watch Triple Mania 33 as the AAA Mega Championship will be on the night. El Hijo del Vikingo will defend against Dragon Lee, El Grande Americano, and Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio, the Intercontinental Champion, has been pushed reportedly to be able to be the one that dethrones Vikingo, takes a championship, and is a double champion. If the King of the Luchadors was able to do what he did to AJ Styles tonight, a phenomenal AJ Styles, where he looked like he was about to lose. There was a moment where he almost even took a top rope Styles Clash. That was not the case. He got his boot out of the way, got out of the way from the referee's view, hit the boot, frog splash, 1, 2, 3. Honoring Eddie Guerrero, honoring the Guerrero name, and making sure that he walked away with his Intercontinental Championship. I'm very happy about that. I understood how many people wanted to push for AJ to win this because, of course, it potentially is his last SummerSlam. But I'm very happy that they continued on with the story of Dominic Mysterio because I do want to see double champ Dirty Dom in the near
Yeah.
future.
Again, I love Dom. I think I'm here for babyface Dom. They were cheering for Dom more than AJ in the crowd, and I think it's time we talk about it. We already theorized and fantasy booked how we get to a babyface Dom and Liv with Raquel, and you have Finn and Roxanne and JD. I think that needs to happen. I think they got. I think they're again. I think we agreed that they were gonna blow it off on this show, but with Liv's injury, they kind of just threw everything out the window. I thought the build up to this match was good. The match itself is just a forgettable run of the mill Raw match, in my opinion. And I'm the biggest AJ Styles fan. Grew up with AJ Styles. He's one of the biggest reasons why I started watching non-WWE content because I loved him in TNA so much. And then in New Japan,
Yeah.
One of the big reasons why they got into New Japan. So he's been a huge part of my wrestling life. If this is his last year in wrestling, I hope he gets a good enough retirement, not tour, but just he gets his big hits in against the people he wants to wrestle. He had great matches with Cody last year. I was disappointed with the Mania match with Logan, but I think this match was fine, did its job, got Dom the win, but this is not a match that people are going to be remembering. But people who are going to be remembering, Rami, is this main event. And we're going to spend a big chunk. So guys, we have over 2,000 people watching us across all. Please comment. What are your thoughts on the main event? We're here for everyone. We're not going to slander you. We're here to talk wrestling. So please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell, comment as well if you're watching the replay. What were your favorite matches on the show? And hit that like button as well. And please comment, guys. Chat with us. What did you think of this very controversial move towards the end of the show? Now, Rami, before we get to the Brock Lesnar of it, let's talk about Cody Rhodes defeating John Cena for the undisputed title in a no DQ match street fight. To be honest, I am not the biggest John Cena guy, to be fair. I thought this was probably his best match since the AJ Styles Royal Rumble match. I thought this was easily the best, and that was 8 years ago. I do think this is his best match since that point. I think his part-time has not worked in the ring. It's just not been good matches. I think you can have some fun if you're into the nostalgia with the Randy Orton match and the CM Punk match, but there were just too many shenanigans for my liking in those matches. Shockingly, there were no shenanigans in the match. There were, it was a no DQ match. There was no Rock. There was no Travis Scott. There was no Cody Rhodes heel turn. There was no John Cena heel turn. There was clean as a sheet, Cody Rhodes pinning John Cena. Now, again, John Cena hit like 8 attitude adjustments in this match. Cody hit like nearly 9 crossroads in this match. It was a lot of finishers, but even though it went long, I found myself really enjoying the match. It bought me a ticket, Rami, when Cena hit the top rope AA. I honestly thought that was probably it. It was not. I wanted Cody to win the match. No matter where you think about John Cena, the reign was not for me. Didn't work totally. And while he's now back to being a babyface, I think Cody is the right choice right now to be the champion, especially if what they did after the show. So, Rami, before we get to the Brock Lesnar stuff, what did you think of the match that Cody and Cena put on to end the show?
You mentioned John Cena, AJ Styles, 2017 Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I believe that was in San Antonio.
That's right.
And that was the same month that Kenny Omega fought Kazuchika Okada at Wrestle Kingdom in one of the most greatest matches you'll ever witness. So in the same month, we got Cena getting closer and closer to number 17, and we got like one of the greatest matches in New Japan history at Wrestle Kingdom. And it's been that long, really, since we really felt the impact and the effect of a true great John Cena match. And this is coming from a guy who, like, when I used to watch, growing up, my first ever show was SmackDown. I was 4 years old, and Undertaker was my guy. Then years down the line, I got into John Cena, and then like the same week that I was watching him and whatnot, he tore his pec. So for months he was gone, and then he finally returned at Royal Rumble. I became an even bigger Cena guy because I'm like, he came back in such an early time, so you gotta love the fucking type of like the ability that he has to be able to not only connect with the fans, but be able to bounce back from so many adversities and put on some of the best matches over the course of his career. But it's the fact that in this heel turn, everything went out the window, it feels. When he turned
Yeah.
heel, The Rock was supposed to be there, Travis Scott was supposed to be there, all these people were supposed to be part of these plans, and they threw it all out the window. And they continue to throw it all out the window. We got a Rock promotion for the last 48 hours to
Yeah.
promote his movie, as starring as Mark Kerr, former Pride and UFC fighter, in the Smashing Machine A24 film. I think it's gonna be a phenomenal film, but what I don't think is phenomenal is the fact that he literally abandoned all plans, abandoned the ship, let everybody sink, and basically said, build your way back up. And like there were reports swarming in the morning. Um, One of the craziest things I feel was in our Body Slam chat,
Yep.
um put Brady put the craziest thing I heard was Brock Lesnar. I didn't want to mention it to any single person that I knew. I didn't want to mention it to a single soul that I knew because I'm like, this
I
won't
also couldn't
happen.
believe it. I also couldn't believe it either.
Yeah. Once I saw that, someone say, "Oh, after the match, we might see something crazy." We'll talk about more about the match in a second, but
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
fact that the whole day I was like, "That's not gonna happen," and the fact that we were basically swerved in the worst way possible is just still. I'm still not over this. Right now, fucking Triple H is talking, and I'm just still thinking to myself like,
Yeah.
"Wow, what the hell happened?" But that match was the best one that we've seen out of Cena's whole year. Besides, I want to say the only one that comes close to it, like not like by too much, but because of the nostalgia, and I feel because of the moves and effects that we got from it. Punk and Cena was nice, but I feel like it could have been also a SummerSlam match that we saw. But I feel
Yep.
like at the end of the day, Cena was gonna hold the championship for as long as he did, as long as
Yeah.
WrestleMania till SummerSlam, and that's what a lot of people said. That's okay. He wins it at WrestleMania, and then he loses at SummerSlam. But that was the big. How is he gonna lose it? Are we gonna see a Civil War type of event? Are we gonna
Yep.
see people coming in and freaking going all guns blazing to make sure Cody walks away? And there was like 8 attitude adjustments, almost three Cody cutters, two disaster kicks, pile driver, like 4 or 5 crossroads, everything they pulled out. You're not able to pull this out even in the game. If you put both characters to 100 overall, guaranteed you hit that trifecta of crossroads, the match is over with. Cena was the first ever guy to kick out of the trifecta of crossroads. Roman Reigns didn't do that.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins didn't do that. No one has been able to do that since Cody Rhodes came back to WWE, and Cena was the first man to do it. But it was still not enough. Top rope, Cody Cutter, and then he did that salute, and I loved it so much because I thought on Friday with the sip of the beer, it was the last real sip of the last real champion, and then I'm gonna basically kill you like Anakin Skywalker. That was not the case.
Yep.
He drank the beer with him. He gave him a good salute, and he put the never seen 17-time champion down once and for all. Very, 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 very enjoyable match. They went all out for it, and I thought it was the coolest. It was really, honestly, one of the coolest matches in Cena's final year. I don't know how the rest of the year is going to go now because we have 12 more dates and we have a shitty feud coming up. And I mean that
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
all due respect. But
Yeah.
go on.
All right, so let's get into. We're gonna be on this for a bit here. The show ends. Cody Rhodes is in the ring, and you're like, something must be happening because all day, as Rami said, the reports were they are hiding something big to end the show. And when nothing happened in the match, you knew it was going to happen after the match. So Cody hugs Cena. It's basically a passing of the torch moment. Cody looked very emotional. Whatever Cena told him made him very emotional in the ring. And Cody leaves the ring. And I'm like, this is interesting. So Cody's not involved with what's about to happen. The music cuts off. And I was like, this is not Cena's last match. So this can't be like a Cena thing here. And it happens. Brock Lesnar's music hits. He has not been on WWE television in 19 months. And he comes out. He gets the pyro. He walks around the ring. He walks in the ring, delivers an F5, and it looks like we are doing a feud that happened 13 years ago when it first started. Also continued in 2014, and obviously it's not about that. There is, if you're not familiar with this Janelle Grant and Vince McMahon lawsuit, involved in it alleges. Now, again, it is true that technically, as of now, Brock Lesnar has not been, arrested, done anything illegal. But in the lawsuit, Brock Lesnar has been alleged of a lot of bad things involving Janelle Grant, sex trafficking, things of that nature. And for months, Brock Lesnar has been he wasn't a part of the video game. He has been told to not be mentioned on a lot of these shows. But the last couple months, you've heard commentary on Raw or SmackDown mention Brock Lesnar, which was very interesting. And as we said, in our Body Slam group chat, which I didn't really tell many people, I only told one person, that they heard that Brock Lesnar could be a thing tonight. But I still did not believe it, if I was being honest. It's because of the bad things that could come from that. And I'm not talking about fan reaction. I'm talking about in the locker room. Because once again, they kept this very tight-lipped. Not that many people, once again, knew about this. And this is a thing that could really hurt morale. I think a lot of people are saying, how do the women feel on the roster with him coming back? I think it's more, how do people feel on the roster with people coming back? This is going to be a big story in wrestling for weeks to come, as it looks like we're going to get, even though John Cena did the last, as you said, 12 dates, another feud with Brock Lesnar. I think a lot of people were thinking, have him feud with Braun Breaker, have him feud with Penta, have him feud with whoever. All this young talent he could be putting over. He's going back to the well with a guy who, again, many people, and again, I am someone who loved Brock Lesnar, the performer, for so many years. And I was disgusted with the lawsuit that I read, just disgusted by him, never wanted to see him on TV again. I'm disgusted. It was a disgusting, in my opinion, and gross ending to the show, Rami.
You're telling me, buddy. Once I heard that music hit, I immediately said they threw everything out the window. They do not. All this week, they've given themselves the worst PR, and I'm allowed to share my opinion, and I'm allowed to say how I feel about this, because if WWE is going to start like with their right-wing, politicians and putting on Donald Trump on TV and whatnot, and it being like, allegations are allegations. Nobody's perfect in life. Things are complicated, guys. I don't need to hide, what these things said. It alleges that Brock Lesnar was shown videos and photos of people, of someone defecating, or Janelle Grant most likely doing that, or some sort of mess that was in that lawsuit was shared and was shown, and everybody read that. Once everybody saw that, everyone in the wrestling world, unless you're a sick piece of shit, said, I don't need to fucking see this guy once anymore. We've seen a couple of months ago an update to how he looked, and everyone was like, wow, I wish he was back. I don't. I never asked if Brock Lesnar to be back. I never wanted him to be back. I never thought that he would ever be back. And then Hulk Hogan dies last week. And I bring that up because the following Monday, they start showing like videos and vignettes and everything of Vince McMahon, somebody who is the main target in this lawsuit from Janelle Grant of sex trafficking and sexual assault of WWE, John Laurinaitis, and Vince McMahon, and also most likely Brock Lesnar, who was put in those papers. That it's in the full report. Anyone can look it up and go and see. But it's the fact that they brought him back. They said what they said earlier this week about PR and about allegations will be allegations, and it's the fact that they did not do any PR tonight. They didn't do anything. Triple H is talking right now, but it's with Joe Tessitore, Paul Rosenberg, and Big E.
And really quick, Rami, too. The crowd was chanting, "We want Brock" during Triple H's interview. On the crowd was just on social media to make sure what Triple H was saying. The crowd was chanting, "We want Brock." So that really sums up, I think, WWE's fan base. Also, Rhea Ripley just tweeted, "I think I hate SummerSlam," with 3 periods at the end. I think this is going to piss off a lot more people than we think. I think a lot of women in particular are not going to be happy about this. Sorry to interrupt you, Rami. I just want to bring up those two important things that just happened.
No. It's perfectly fine, and it's very important. And it could be because of her match, but it could also be just the atmosphere and the morale dip completely. Because once you see that, and once you hear that music, and you're like, wow, everything that we've been built on for the last couple of years of don't mention these names, don't talk about them, don't even
Oh,
think about mentioning whatsoever.
sorry. Correction. The crowd was chanting "We won Cross." Triple H thought they were saying "We won Brock," and Triple H said "We've got him," but they were chanting "We won Cross." Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do want Karrion Kross, and Karrion Kross's contract is coming up while Brock Lesnar gets to be brought back in, even though there's a lawsuit that alleges he did some very freaking horrible and disgusting stuff. But yeah, WWE's like, hey man, we're gonna cancel all of our post shows, press conferences. We're gonna stop doing anything that allows the media to ask us questions. Oh, all these bogus sites that are reporting this and that. Here's the thing, buddy, and I'm not gonna go into a whole I hate WWE type of campaign.
Sure.
I'm gonna go into I'm disappointed in WWE campaign because but it's not surprising because look at what they've done all week. Trump has been shown up. What we've seen from Trump and the very many counts that he's gotten. Brock Lesnar's been shown. Vince McMahon's been shown. A guy like Hulk Hogan who said what he said and never apologized for it was shown. They have not cared whatsoever. And then like tonight we saw with the main event, all that finisher galore, eight attitude adjustments. If we saw that, and I'm gonna say that and be very honest with people, if we saw that in All Elite Wrestling, people would be crying and bitching and moaning and saying that's not professional wrestling. That's just a bunch of spot fest. But when WWE does it with Cody Rhodes and John Cena, we say, oh my God, this is cinema. I think all of wrestling can be cinema, but I'm not gonna be that. Oh, WWE's doing this. That's great. AEW does it. Man, they're just copycats. No, and I'm very, very happy that I got to enjoy from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. All Elite Wrestling's All In. I'm very, very glad I was able to tune in for all those amazing, incredible matches. I wish I was in attendance for this one, but for the people who were in attendance for this one, all the people in that front row, you had to pay $16,000 to sit front row for a guy who is in a lawsuit for so many horrible things. This is the return, hit attitude adjustment on John Cena. And John Cena had a whole year to think this through and be like, guys, let's have the best matches possible. No, he's too busy promoting his movies and his shows. Rightfully so. He's a movie star. He's a Hollywood star. I'm not gonna get mad at that. But it's the fact that he was told backstage, hey, this is what's gonna happen, this is what's gonna happen, the whole world's gonna explode, be prepared for it. And now his next appearance, his pay-per-view appearance, is at Clash in Paris. So what? We're gonna get the Beast in Paris? Is that the new tagline that they're gonna be doing?
Yeah, it's throughout the Triple H is talking about how he in this thing. I'm getting great quotes from a lot of people covering the post show. Triple H talking about how John Cena and him hasn't talked about his last couple opponents. Now he's basically implying that John Cena wanted Brock Lesnar. Now if that's also the case, that's also not a good thing. But I don't think Triple H should be like, well, John Cena wanted Brock Lesnar, so that means we're going to give him Brock Lesnar. I think that's definitely not what happened. Because again, it's amazing. John Cena this year turns heel, right, Rami? Like this is an all-time heel turn. Turns into one of the worst heel runs you can imagine for a top guy, where The Rock and Travis Scott abandon the story after WrestleMania, throws him out there, not doing interesting things. Now he turns babyface. Gets everyone back excited for this John Cena retirement tour. There's finally energy from people even like me who don't like John Cena and get energy for this babyface run. And now it's Brock Lesnar, who is now going to be feuding with John Cena. Who knows for how long? And again, I'm not if he had nothing else going on, Brock Lesnar outside of the ring, I wouldn't want this from a wrestling perspective. We've seen this. We have been there. We have done that with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. It's been done a lot. There's so many people on this roster, like people said too, Dirty Dom and John Cena would be a lot of fun as well. There's a lot of fun people to put John Cena in the ring with, but we're just redoing. We're doing Randy Orton again. We're doing CM Punk again. We're doing Cody again. And now we're doing Brock Lesnar again. I think this is, again, I feel very gross about this. And for people who are, I just want to say this too, who are like, well, Brock Lesnar's done nothing illegal, so they can do whatever they want. If people, there's also morale too and morals. And if people feel disgusted by what, from a moral perspective, they're allowed to feel that way. And again, WWE, they can get away with working a Seth Rollins fake injury. That's not going to hurt the locker room. That's not going to offend anyone. This could have big ramifications for a lot of people who think, wow, we finally feel safe after Vince is gone. This is the new regime. We feel safe under these people. Maybe they don't now. Who knows? But for me, the moment the music hit, it really ruined and soured the night for me. I thought it was a bad way to close out the show. And WWE, again, they don't go off of the internet. They don't go off what reporters say or credit, anything like that. They go off the live crowd. And it was very sad that it was a big pop. There's no hiding it. I rewatched it before we hopped on. It was a loud cheer. The Brock Lesnar music hit. That is what they go off of, is the live crowd reactions. And again, you have the opportunity when you go to these shows. If you want to boo Brock Lesnar, you can do that now for the next couple of weeks or months, however long he's back. They go off of that. They do not go off of, this is going to be either good heat for them or bad heat for them. It depends on the person. And this is I just don't like wrestling. The IWC, as they call it, has always been very divisive, but it is hot right now, how divisive it is and how mixed, and people feel very strongly about this, Rami.
Ibu of Wrestle Purist said earlier today that something very crazy was going to happen, and that to keep your eyes peeled to that screen. And I did not want to leave my seat until and I remember the body sometimes saying the show's over. And I'm like, it's not over just yet. Cena has yet to leave. The pay-per-view has yet to end and show that produced by, executive by, whatever the bullshit is, and for everything to end. And then when we heard that music, I immediately thought to myself, wow, they fucked us again. They continue to do this to us. But I'm not surprised. And I'm not going to be like, wow. And it's not like a big campaign. I know what my campaign is. I don't support this. I don't think this is cool whatsoever. I'm very happy that there isn't an alternative to professional wrestling like this. This is the sports entertainment world where they're going to be based off the fans, whereas the other world will be based off of talent and morale and actually keeping the fans and everybody happy and making sure things go perfectly fine. But man, I don't really understand what we get with this, because it now makes me think to myself, now the next pay-per-view we're gonna, and all the fans in the world, and I don't care what anybody says, I'm gonna say this as honest as possible. For the people who are like, oh, move on, like, oh, he's not involved with this. When you're alleged in a lawsuit, doesn't matter who you are, you're alleged in that lawsuit and you're a prime suspect. I have, what do you call it, dealt with my own types of stuff in my life where I was a victim of sexual assault. So whenever I see any type of case of that, I always read into it, I look into it, and I don't need to be that type of person that says, oh, innocent until proven guilty, because when you go into detail of all the things that you went through, and you have to be full frontal and honest about it towards your lawyer and towards the entire world, as long as this case is going through. Janelle Grant has been open and honest about every single thing that she's been through, and it takes a lot of courage to do that. And for WWE to to say this week, like, allegations to allegations, and let's bring back the guy who's part of this case. Like, you did not want to talk about Vince McMahon, but you brought back literally the guy that he reached out to get a new contract by receiving these disgusting images and videos. And so, like, anyone who supports this, it really shows what kind of person you are. In my group chat, my friend, one of my friends, like, we're 10 of us, they said, kudos to everybody for not cheering that bullshit. And we all said the same thing. Fuck that bullshit. It was stupid. It was dumb. It should not have ended that way. I would have enjoyed The Rock and Travis Scott coming out and doing dances on the stage to distract Cody Rhodes, and then you could with a low blow, 1, 2, 3, and then end it like that. I would have been cool with that. But you give us Seth Rollins as a new champion, and then I'm like, wow, it can't get crazier than that. Maybe Cody turns heel and we have 2 heel world champions. Cody's back in charge, and then now we have Cena wasting his time with a feud that is just so fucking stupid. We didn't need
Yes.
this. No one thought about this. No one even like anyone who thought about this or even wanted it. You should be sent right to the fucking back to where you get to where you go and get the fuck out of here, pal.
Yeah,
Um,
want to comment on Triple H just commented on it in my reaction. They asked him about his reaction to Brock Lesnar. He said, my reaction was exactly what I thought it was going to be, which was if there had been a roof on this place, it wouldn't be here anymore. The dynamic in the room in WWE changes when the beast is here. Seeing Brock Lesnar come back, anything that you thought that was happening sort of all goes out the window because the factor of Brock now just changes the dynamic so incredibly. It makes it unpredictable. Also, Karrion Kross got into the mix because they were all chanting "We want Cross," and Triple H thought they were saying "We want Brock." Kross said, "Unreal. They write the scripts, but the fans write the truth. Thank you, TikTok." It makes you think even more so Kross maybe isn't coming back.
I don't think so.
By that, he's getting a lot of people are now talking about it. Again, if you say Brock Lesnar didn't do it, it seemed like Brock Lesnar knew that some of this stuff was happening and didn't say a word. I just want to say that as well. There's a lot of crap. And we love pro wrestling. When you want to watch pro wrestling, you're trying to escape. It's
From the real world.
a
From the
scripted
real world.
reality. Yeah, from the real world. You go.
I'm so sorry. I used professional wrestling from the age of when I was 4 years old is when everything started happening for me, like the horribleness of the stuff that I went through. And from the age of 4, when I first discovered professional wrestling, I immediately said to myself, "This is what I want to do. This is what I want to love. I never want to let go of this in my entire lifetime." When I was 17, and everything finally ended, and all the horribleness of my fucking life, finally went away. What was there to be my escape? It was the night of Monday Night Raw, and the main event was Roman Reigns against Bobby Lashley. I finally got away from the horribleness of my life, and then that was the main event. And I was like, and I got to hang out with my friends as well. And I was like, you know what? I have my friends and I have professional wrestling, my 2 favorite things in the world, so I'm happy about that. And that's the whole point of professional wrestling. Whether you watch Ring of Honor, AEW, TNA, WWE, New Japan, AAA, CMLL, any of these companies, Stardom, any of these promotions, you use it as an escape because that professional wrestler or the company makes you feel just like you can escape the whole world, and then those are the people that you love and that you support and that you want to make sure that they reach the top so that you can feel like you've reached the top. But right now it feels like they're at the bottom with WWE and no one can reach the top, and it feels like it's just a complete disaster, a clusterfuck, and there's really nothing to praise about this whatsoever. There's no one should be praising this whatsoever. There's still a lawsuit that it's right there in front of everybody's eyes. And if the whole world isn't up in flames right now, then everyone should be very much concerned about this. Because if Trump is shaking hands with Triple H and the whole family of McMahons and whatnot and WWE are all like, we love Trump and we love the way that America's going, then it's getting increasingly hard to support a company and to be there for a company that doesn't care about what you've been through, doesn't care about why you wanted to escape from the world that you've been through. They'd rather just show it from full frontal in your face and tell you to deal with it. And yeah, that's hold on. One last thing. We mentioned the good, the bad, and the ugly. This was the ugliest, and this was the worst ending that we possibly could have gotten for SummerSlam in any prediction.
It's a weird. I hate that this is what we're talking about. I do. When we're talking about pro wrestling, I want to talk about pro wrestling. I don't want to talk about some horrific real life things because not that I don't want to talk about it. It happened and it's awful. But when I'm covering SummerSlam with you, the last thing I want to talk about and be reminded of, because that's what it does. Every time you see Brock Lesnar now, you're not going to think of Brock Lesnar. You're going to think of Vince McMahon, this lawsuit, and what happened behind the scenes in WWE. That's what you're going to think of. You're going to be so out of the moment. And that's what you don't want to do, is that you want to escape in the moment of these people.
One more thing. For months, we've been saying since they purchased AAA that we do not want to see Alberto Del Rio back. And if they brought back Brock Lesnar, Del Rio's coming right back, dude. There's no holding them back at that.
Yeah, it's And again, I think Triple H is trying to cover his ass when he's basically saying, yeah, Cena wanted him. Like, I think this is definitely a Triple H, a TKO thing more than like John Cena went to Triple H and said, I want Brock Lesnar. I'm sure that's not how it probably went. It could have, who knows? But this is going to now be the story in pro wrestling. And Raw is tomorrow night. I'm sure they're going to continue this on Raw because Raw's in Barclays. It's right near where MetLife is. So I assume they're going to continue this. It's going to be interesting if Cena in a promo hints at real life situations, if that's going to be brought into the story. If it's not, this could be.
I think they're gonna definitely shield it as much as possible.
Yeah, they should. And it's going to be a very. We saw how, again, a return pop is a return pop. The question is the crowd in Brooklyn tomorrow, if Brock Lesnar shows up, are they going to be cheering? Are they going to be booing? What's the reaction going to be? It's going to be interesting to watch the reaction of wrestlers.
I do want to mention one last thing before I think we do the whole send off. My friend, she's actually going to the event tomorrow night, and when she's informed of all of this stuff that's going on, and then I put here, why is he here in all caps? And then she responded with, by the way, she's going to the show tomorrow. I don't know why people are even shocked. Look who's in charge of the company, and hey. That's not a shocker. That's just the truth.
Yep. This is I think people have reactions, and I think this is again, you live in a society now where you make a comment and you get crushed for it, for any belief you have. This is just a polarizing situation, and stay tuned. I put it down below for a reason. Body Slam's Patreon, guys, please subscribe to Body Slam's Patreon, because I'm sure Corey Hayes and many others at Body Slam are going to be breaking some news, especially involving this situation. Because again, as Rami pointed, it was Body Slam. Body Slam broke the news also on Patreon today of the rundown for SummerSlam. So subscribe. We break news. We break down rundowns.
Yeah.
Wrestling
also,
news,
Corey broke the news as well for the Hardys being involved in the crowd and everything. So Corey Hayes has been doing an incredible job. We should always show him the love and support that he gets. And plus, it was his birthday weekend this weekend. So of course, his phone must have been blowing up, not only because of just the sources, the scoops, and also friends and family trying to wish him a happy birthday, but also people messaging saying, "Did you know this was going to happen?" So I'm sure that we're going to get a report pretty soon, most likely, just detailing just the reaction from everybody backstage.
So definitely subscribe to Body Slam's Patreon. Definitely subscribe to Body Slam on YouTube. We have videos every single day. If they're live, we have live post shows for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, Collision, TNA, many more things, including usually Rami and I am here for post shows for anything. So stay tuned for that. Rami, where can everyone find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me on Instagram at the same user. Who else but Rami? I upload as much as I possibly can, and of course, I'm always as entertaining as it can be. And you never have to hear any bullshit coming from my lips. I keep it full, honest, and truthful as much as I possibly can. And yeah, that's where the places that you can find me from. I would really greatly appreciate a follow. It definitely helps a lot with bringing out more news and bringing out more stories and interviews that I could possibly do. And without your support, of course, it does not go unnoticed. It's definitely appreciated, and it's a genuine thank you.
Yep. You can find me on Twitter at Dinenberg Max, Instagram at Max Dinenberg, TikTok as well. I post TikTok videos for Body Slam basically every single day. I had prediction videos this weekend for Body Slam as well. I do highs and lows for Body Slam for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, Dynamite, and Collision, as well as the post show. So if you maybe miss a Raw and you want to see a quick 60-second recap of the show, that's why I am here. I'm also a contributing writer to Body Slam, helping Rami cover some breaking news and other wrestling news for the website. So don't have to go over to bodyslam.net. We have stories for you guys, exclusive and non-exclusive every single day. So please stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for joining Rami and I for not just tonight, but last night. Tons of wrestling. Rami and I had a really good time together covering SummerSlam. I'm sure we'll be back covering a post show very, very soon. So thank you guys, everyone, for joining us. For Max Dinenberg, for Rami, and for BodySlam.net. Have a great weekend, and also have a great August as well. See you guys